Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here we go. Woke all my neighbors up. Alright, so I want to talk about this. So the Ram RHO was released onto YouTube here yesterday. And while it looks exactly like the TRX, it is not. And I've had the chance to drive the TRX and hopefully buy one here. Here's the problem with that vehicle. And it's kind of a major problem. It has the new Hurricane Inline 6 engine. So essentially here, the Hurricane Inline 6 produces 540 horsepower and 519 pound-feet torque. So there's no real difference between buying that truck now and buying a limited Ram in the 2025 form, or the Tungsten, or the Laramie Limited or Laramie Longhorn, or trims like that. So you're only getting that 540 horsepower compared to 702 out of the Ram TRX, and the truck looks exactly the same. Now, some of the specs are that I think it's an inch or two longer than the old TRX, but it's essentially the same truck. The all-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive system is the same. The interior is basically the same. Now, the price is a lot lower, but with that being said, and the 0 to 60 is about 4.6 seconds. Now, with that being said, that's not what the consumers want. And now with the Raptor R still being produced with a V8, and even the Chevy ZR2 with the V8 in it, now we're stuck with the Hurricane Inline 6, which is really just a shame. And it's a shame because of this. I wouldn't have any problem buying that truck per se if they bumped up the horsepower on it, or if they did something special to it besides an exhaust. So the videos that I watched and the information that I watched said that the Ram RHO, I'm sorry, I was going to say TRX, the RHO is or has an exhaust on it, has better breathing on it, so it is going to add horsepower. So maybe that number's from 540 up to 560 or something like that. But still, try to make that engine boost 600 horsepower or something to make us excited. I guess, that's a lot of horsepower in a truck, but if it's the same horsepower that is what is in your Tungsten or your limited trim truck, then there's no, and those trucks are just as fast, there's no buying proposition to buy that truck for the average truck buyer. Now, like with the TRX, for a guy like me, I'm never going to take that off-road. It's going to stay on the pavement all the time. I need a truck for work. That's my truck. It's my truck now. I use it for work. So I guess for me, I like the TRX because A, it sounds good. It sounds really good. B, it's got the Hellcat motor. And C, it's fast. 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. So if the RHO now goes 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, it's a little bit slower. It does weigh 200 pounds less, but you're still looking at a huge truck, so it doesn't really matter. So now it oh God, it weighs less, but it's slower. The off-road capabilities are the same, so you essentially want to, and yes, it is still fast. 4.6 seconds to 60 is really fast. Just Challenger SRT can barely do that. I don't even know if this one can. It's the older one. I believe it's right around 4.5 to 4.6 seconds. So yes, it's still fast. But at the same point, I guess who's buying that truck now to sound cool? I don't know what the exhaust sounds like, but who's buying that truck now? If you're looking at a person like me, which is 90% or 95% of TRX buyers, or truck buyers really for that matter, at least I use my truck for work, for towing equipment and and picking up materials, building materials, whatever. But for somebody who doesn't, now they're buying a truck that looks cool, looks great, really, best looking truck on the road, but doesn't act the part, per se, when you could have more capabilities out of a 25 or a 1500 limited, or a tungsten, or a limited longhorn, something like that. So for me, I guess there's no real buying proposition over the normal truck. Maybe price, but now if you look at the price, $69,000, well, you know that's already going to be marked off, and that's bare bones, no options. So if you add options now, you're looking at a truck again that's probably going to be $90,000. So at that point, you want the luxuries of the tungsten trim, or the limited longhorn trim, or the limited trim. You know, it's just great questions. Now, for me, if that was the only truck I could buy, I don't know. I would have a tough choice choosing between that and the tungsten trim for Ram trucks. So time will tell what those trucks are really going to sell for with all these dealer markups here, especially what the Dodge dealers are doing, which is just asinine to most of their products. There's very, very few good Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealers out there. I am truly convinced on that. Everything that's going on. And yeah, here you go right here. Can't deny the sound of a V8. You can't deny that. So you're missing out on that with the TRX. And when I drove that standard output inline 6 in the 2025 Ram that I tried out, yes, it was fast, and yes, there was turbo lag. There was a little bit of turbo lag right from about 1,000 to 2,500 RPMs, and then once the turbos kicked in, you were fine. So yeah, you're probably going to deal with a little bit of turbo lag right off the line, but if you keep it in the rev range, you're fine, or the power band, you're fine. But yeah, you miss out on all that noise and ego adjustment and stuff like that. So I don't know, I guess. I don't see why they didn't try to add any more performance features onto that truck, rather than, you know, the exhaust and the breathing of the truck, you know, which does add horsepower, don't get me wrong, but maybe try to boost that horsepower up to 6,000 or 600 horsepower, boost that torque up, make it a real fast performance truck. Try to top the TRX. I don't know why, I guess they didn't do that. Maybe they'll do that in the future. I don't know. But time will tell with these trucks and how they go. But I guess I was looking more for added horsepower on top of the high output 3-liter, or torque. They kept the truck the same, which was what they needed to do. The TRX is the best looking truck on the road, hands down, and nobody can argue against that. It really is. You know, it just looks great, it performs great. So they kept the design philosophy the same. They added the front end, which changed it up a little bit, which was great. I love the new 2025 front ends. But again, you know, you're essentially missing out on that Hellcat performance engine, which we already knew was going to go away. It's no surprise out of the TRX. We knew that for a while. But the problem is, they didn't do anything to differentiate that engine from an engine in a limited or an engine in a tungsten. So we're stuck with the regular engine. So now buyers have to decide, do you want the RHO or do you want the tungsten, basically, or limited, whatever trim you want to buy. I don't know. I feel like Stellantis again is just, see, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, they're trying to do what they can to survive. Ram and Jeep are doing well. Ram and Jeep are doing excellent, actually, but the prices of their vehicles are going up. Dodge is trying to survive. Chrysler is trying to survive. I don't think Chrysler's going to make it. Personally, I think Dodge will consume Chrysler because they only have one product, the minivan. So, with that being said, these poor American automakers, which I love dearly, and I know a lot of other people do, are trying to battle with the Dutch right now, and the Dutch don't want anything to do with these big, cool, awesome cars, which Americans love. So we're stuck with their decisions, and their decisions aren't the best decisions for us, I think. And I'm all for the environment. I own a Chevy Volt, for Christ's sakes. So at the end of the day, we're battling with the Dutch. We're battling with Stellantis. And they are winning, clearly. So the RHO, I'm curious to see a new review on it. I probably won't drive the thing for a while. I don't have any interest in driving it. I drove a TRX. I already was at the mountaintop. I'm gonna buy a TRX eventually. You know, that's the mountaintop. Can't get any better than that. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's my opinion on the new RHO. Love the truck. Don't love the engine, of course, clearly. I'm in a Hemi V8 right now. I'm in an SRT vehicle. So stay strong, Dodge community. Brotherhood of Muscle. There's no more Brotherhood of Muscle, but oh well. That's all right. All right, guys. Like and subscribe. Take care.